Yeah, and then I went into that place that does the burgers that sells these things, and I said to the manager, "Can I?" Well, I said to the manager, you know, "Can I have some?" Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the eModels live stream, not website. It's a live stream.
It's gone wrong. It's gone wrong.
It's gone wrong already. Shall we start again? Beep. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the eModels live stream with Ted here and my good friend himself. The man over there is Foxx.
Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody in the chat. Hello.
Yes, good evening to everybody. There's one or two people who have been waiting in the wings and getting themselves comfortable till we all get along and started. Welcome to the one. Am I in focus, by the way?
Yes, you seem to be. Good. I can't tell. There's a big camera in the way of my screen, so
we're
trying to new camera
like
position.
This evening we've repositioned our cameras to be in front of the screen, so we appear to be talking to you. Just the problem is that we can't now see the screen. So
all I can see is like Ted's head and then my camera. So basically, my camera has Ted's head.
So yes, here we are, everybody. Once again for our Monday night at the live stream. At the bench with Ted and Foxx. There'll be the usual things, there'll be the giveaways, look at what's in store and lots of other things. But really, it's up to you guys. It's up to you how we go along for the evening. You can ask your questions. Remember, if you do have any questions, try and put them in a bold type, in a bold text, so that at least they try and pop out so that we can see them. But we do apologise if we miss your question. Just ask it again, and we'll do our best to get along to it.
By bold text, Ted means capitals. He always says bold. I don't know why you say that, Ted. You always say bold text.
Yeah, is there a difference?
Yeah, bold text is big and fat, and capitals is uppercase.
Well, either will do. Yeah.
So you can't do bold text in chat.
No, can you not? All right. Says how much I know. Right. Well, welcome. What have we been up to this week? Right. Well, I've been at work most of it because the season is really taking off. I've been enjoying it. So I've been looking around, doing a bit of work on the U-boat. Paint is going on. Painting detail parts and everything else. Have you been up to anything, Mike? Foxx?
Well, hello, flashback. Last week I've been working on something that I can't show. Sounds mysterious, but it's just something I'm going to be hopefully using in the Eagle builds. It's a little side track I had to go and build. Something I'm going to use maybe, but I'm not showing it yet. So that was my last few days.
You also, Scott's already spotted it. I've seen a question, a comment from Scott there. You've got a new cabinet.
Yes, my work today was getting up at 7 in the morning. 7 in the morning. That's not even a real time.
Is there 2 7 o'clocks in the day?
There's no such time as 7 o'clock in the morning, but apparently there is. I had the little fella from IKEA came to deliver it, so I've got my little Detolf cabinet. Model makers know the IKEA Detolf. It was about time I got one, so that was set up today. It's all in there. I've not got any lighting for it, but it's just somewhere to put stuff for now. TK says to me, "It'll take 2 of you to build it." Didn't. I had to get a little bit of help to hold the hinge when I hung the door, but other than that, you can build it by yourself. It's all right. It's a little bit wonky. The door doesn't quite fit straight. It's a bit weird.
Is the cabinet actually straight, or is it leaning?
Yeah, it's 40 quid, so it's not going to be the best cabinet in the world. So yeah, the door's a little bit. The top bit didn't fit quite well. I had to really fudge it around. So, and the magnet that holds the top of the door is too far back, so I had to add a couple of extra magnets. So it was like, not brilliant, IKEA, not brilliant.
Not that you're short of magnets after the hobby zone.
After the hobby zones, I have millions of them. I have my stick-o magnets from Hobby Zone. This is great. I can play with these all day. I've got a wonky end.
Yeah,
I get that scene too.
I'd love a cabinet like that myself, but I just haven't got anywhere to put one really. So it just keeps the dust off. Yeah, keeps the dust off. Cabinet keep the dust off. But I'll have to just keep dusting and going around with the brush.
Well, I took a tactical decision. I thought, well, there was all the stuff there because there was that silver carry case and an old hamper box and stuff. And I thought I could measure everything out, or I could just buy the cabinet and worry about it when it turns up. So of course I did that. And then somehow by pure fluke, once I cleared everything out and then put the cabinet in, it came out to exactly the same size. So I was like, yes, something worked. Something worked for once.
Yeah, I am thinking of having a move around in here, sort of paint racks and things like that. Having a bit of a sort out and a move around. I think it's due one. Get rid of some of this junk that seems to be accumulating underneath the monitor.
It's a gauntlet. It's not junk.
Yeah.
Which reminds you, where is Exia tonight? It's not on screen.
No, the submarine's taking his place. The submarine's up there. Where is it? Oh, here he is. Hang on.
Not the same if Exia's not in the background.
Yeah, Richie over. Yeah, we're putting there then.
There you
go. That's just the proof that I did. If anybody ever wanted to know, it's just a proof that I do have one. So that's it. Right, I did see a question, and I think it's been answered. The guys in the room have already answered it. Somebody was asking about Canopy glue. Paul Waddington, what's the best glue to fix canopies? Yeah. There is Canopy glue available, and there's also white PVA, which are both about as good as each other. And I think somebody else has actually mentioned a product.
I've got
560 from eModels.
I've got Revell's Contactor Canopy glue, which is just it's just a. If you look at Canopy glue, it's basically just PVA glue, really, with a few little tweaks. I've got Revell's Canopy glue, which is really quite nice. It's quite good. And I usually use that, to be honest, if I'm doing a clear part in a vehicle. In the Eagle, because the window sits on the hull like that, you've got a little ledge. I slathered it in PVA glue, in Canopy glue first, but then went over it again in PVA glue just to make it an even firmer joint, because you have like the clear piece like that sits on top of this, but you can't see. So it meant I could slather PVA all over it.
I have Umbral clear Canopy glue, and I've had it years. I just can't find it now. I've had it years, and now I can't find it. But yeah, I've had it years, and people say it goes off. But, I've never had a problem with it.
I mean, it probably isn't the same as PVA, but I keep looking up there where my camera used to be. It probably isn't the same as PVA, but it smells the same and it kind of looks the same. So it might just be slightly thin PVA, I think.
Now, the only thing to remember is just don't use super glue on canopies. I think Foxx, you might have an example of something kicking around under your bench that we'll see at some time.
Yeah, I can get it. I could get it down actually, because it's just there.
Yeah.
Like, shall I get it? Shall I get it down?
Do you want to?
Down? Yeah, I can do.
Go on then. Yeah, show the reaction if you try to use super glue.
People are going to see my trousers.
Okay. You haven't got any trousers. Yeah. And now.
I have an example of why you don't use anything apart from PVA glue or Canopy glue on clear parts. When I was in eModels, this had been sent in by a customer and returned, and they were going to throw it away. So I say, I'll have it and I'll have a play with it. What you see here, it's an Enterprise D. But what you see here, I don't know if it'll come out of camera, but what you see here is all kind of frosting and horribleness, and I don't know if it will come out, but just real horrible. Can it come out on camera? Can I? Is it ever exposed?
As we mentioned, it's not the glue itself that causes that frosting, but it's actually the vapors from the super glue.
So it looks like whoever's sort of, because this is the clear Enterprise that you do for lighting, and whoever's tried to make it has obviously tried to glue it with super glue, with CA glue, and it's just fogged and frosted and gone horrible. So they were going to throw it away, and I said, I'll have it. I'll see what I can do with it. So, oh, noise. So the lesson is basically don't use anything on clear parts apart from Canopy glue or PVA. With that, it's not so bad. If he wasn't going to light it, it wouldn't matter. But if he was going to light it, and you've got all the windows there and they're all fogged over. CA glue as well can fog non-clear parts. I sometimes find if I try to glue two parts together with super glue with CA glue and they've got paint near them, you sometimes get a bloom around. So you've got to be really careful with super glue. I tend not to use it as little as possible. I don't really like using it because it's brittle and it tends to fog anything and get that bloom, that frost around things. So just be careful using CA, but don't use it on canopies.
Yeah, unfortunately, most photo etch parts require super glue to fit them. But, yeah,
that's before you've painted it. That's not so bad. It's if you're building something where you've got to glue two parts together, but they've already been painted. If you get a bit careless, you might get that bloom of frost around on the paint. You can paint over it again, but yeah, not awesome.
Right. Yeah. All right. I think that covers that question. So we're over to you guys for any more questions.
Kimbar123 says he's disappointed for one that I'm wearing trousers. They are Hawaiian shorts. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've decided that from now on for work, I'm going to start wearing shorts at work. I'm going to be like one of these all-weather postmen, whether it rain or shine.
You need a pith helmet.
I should be wearing my shorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to find the question that came into eModels. And
well, I've got one from Chris Williams. Question: Has Odo been cleaned yet? No, I keep forgetting. He's got. I found out he's got bird poop on the back, and I keep meaning to clean it off, and I keep not doing it. He just sits there. He doesn't do anything. I don't like lick him or touch him with anything. You know, it's just nothing weird going on. So yes, I need to clean him off.
One of the questions that came in this week was from Dave. Why is the rum gone? He says, Chris, myself, and now Natty seem to be holding up the small scale end of the boom hook. So what is your preferred scale and why? Well, I like big. It's not necessarily the scale of the model, but it's the size of it. Size is important. I do like building 1/35th scale and larger. I won't really go below 1/35th, but as the U-boat, so I'll just try 1/48 scale. Yeah, it's a smaller scale, but it's a big model. I'm more a size than a scale. What about you, Mr. Fox?
I'm kind of similar. It depends what I'm building. If I'm building, say, Gunpla, I want big, because big. If I'm building, say, military stuff, then again, it's kind of 1/35th, but I kind of prefer big models, as in not the scale, but the size of it, just because there's more potential for weathering. So if you've got, like, you know, a 1/100th scale something or other, and you're trying to do paint chipping and streaking, you're kind of limited in what you can do that looks to scale. But if you're doing, say, 1/24th, you can be painting on chips and everything, and it always looks much better. So I'm not really too fussed, but I'll try and get a bigger model if I can, like the Eagle, which is 22 inches long, or the Space Battleship Yamato, which is 66 centimeters long, 67 centimeters.
Yeah. I think it's detail in it, and you can add that extra sort of weathering and such like that. Some people, obviously, I know they're restricted to size and where they can store them, so a lot of people make great attempts and great effort and do great results from 1/72 and smaller. It's one to their own, but yeah, it's just I know some people saying in the chat there it's all down to eyes and how big your fingers are. So,
yeah, whether you've got meat hands or spindle hands. See, I've got kind of normal hands, but my limitation is I can't bend the end of my fingers. I don't have the tendon in the end to be able to. I can bend them, I just can't voluntarily. So I'm kind of limited with little tiny things. I'm a bit restricted with that. So also I couldn't play violin either, or I could, but I couldn't do vibrato. There you go.
Philip Rhodes says, would we build the HK 1/32nd Lancaster? That's going to be big, but yeah, I think I would have a go at it. I'm not particularly an aircraft enthusiast or particularly keen on building aircraft, but the Lancaster on 1/32nd scale, that's going to be a nice model to build.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm like you, I don't do aircraft, but there are the the 3 aircraft I will build. Well, the 4 aircraft I will build. Wait, let's revise that. I would build a Spitfire, because Spitfire, the best plane ever designed. I will build a Lancaster because my granddad flew in one. And I would build an ME-109 because you kind of have to if you built a Spitfire. Is the law. And the only other aircraft I built is a Ju-52 because that's my favourite World War II aircraft after the Spitfire. I don't know why, it just is. I just like it. It's so boxy and clunky. I like it.
One of the things that puts me off the off aircraft is canopies. I just hate doing canopies, whether it be canopies or screens. I'm just not a big fan of doing canopies. That takes us back to the question of sticking canopies on aircraft.
So that's where sci-fi can be quite good for you, Ted, that you need to get into, because a lot of sci-fi planes that aren't really planes, you know, like Colonial Viper and stuff, the canopies are quite simple. They're just like a front panel, two sides, and that's it. It's not like say a Junkers canopy with hundreds of little windows, or a Lancaster or a B-52 with lots of little. They're usually quite straightforward, like single-seater fighter craft. So you can actually have some. I don't mind doing canopies like that. It's when you get your Lancasters and your Junkers and things like that, and you're like, oh god, there's 300 windows.
Yeah, got all those tiny panes of aircraft.
Oh, pain is the word, Ted. Pain is the word.
Yeah, masking them all off to paint them. Yeah. Yeah. Right. What Ignis says, go on, Ted, do a rocket.
It's just a tube. It's just a tube.
I think that's another one in my dim and distant past, building the Apollo space rocket.
The Saturn V.
The Saturn V.
Everybody in the world has built Saturn V. Anybody who grew up in the 70s and will stretch it to the mid 80s, who was a kid in the 70s and mid 80s, will at some point, at some point they will have made a Saturn V. You kind of have to. It's a big old Airfix 3 foot tall one. I
remember the little lunar lander that went in the top, but you could take the top part of it and all come apart into sections.
Yeah, there's a Lego one that was apparently quite good.
Right, any more questions from you guys out there?
Yes, throw us some questions. As usual, we're kind of not planned and not prepared anything because we don't. It's more fun not to.
But in the meantime, we've got a second part to Dave's question.
Yeah.
Two of us use Pledge Clear with 2,000 times more shine for gloss varnish. And I know there are some great matte varnishes like Mr. Hobby, UMP, Tamiya, but is there an alternative like Clear but in matte? I haven't seen one.
No,
haven't
not that I'm aware of. I mean, I will admit I do struggle with matte varnishes. Out of habit, I use Humbrol's Rattle Can Matte 49 acrylic, not enamel, because it's really nice. It's just, you don't think, you just go blah, and it's on and it's matte. It's great. I need to try some Mr. Hobby stuff. That's quite good. I can't remember what it's called now. The Mr. Hobby spray top, Mr. Top Coat, I think it's called. I've tried the Ammo by Mig varnish, the little 10mm bottles, and I think it's down to me not doing it right because it came out kind of satin. So I think I was probably putting it on too thick. So I need to test doing that with the way that you do MIG paints, which is to build them up in very slow, misty layers rather than, say, a Tamiya paint where you just slap the paint on. What do you do, Ted? You
slap it on. Yes, you've got to slap it on. Get a good coat. Yeah.
So I did kind of slap it on, as Ted would say, with the ammo stuff, and it came out a bit satiny. So I need to keep trying that, but I don't have a model that I can practice on. So because I want to be able to do airbrush matte, because I don't want to have to go outside in the winter.
Yeah, a lot of people have different ideas and different things, and I think Tony Black there's just mentioned he uses Winsor and Newton. I've actually got some Winsor and Newton, and it's good stuff. But
yeah, it's supposed to be good, though.
Yeah, I've also got the Alclad range of varnishes as well, and they're good. They're nice and hard.
Yeah, Tony swears by the Vallejo varnishes. He actually likes the satin for a matte because it gives a reasonably matte finish. But that's because Tony's weird.
Yeah, but I think some of it though is down to application and getting it right. But as for an alternative to Clear, I haven't seen a household product or anything like that would.
No, because I mean the point of things like Pledge, Future, and Clear is it's a household product for making your wooden floors and tiles shiny. I can't think of a household product where you want to make something not shiny. Personally.
Yep. Some of our viewers may know. I don't. I can't think of one.
There is one alternative though. If you have built a model and you've done a gloss coat and you've put your decals on and you've done another gloss coat and you're going to do some weathering, and if your intention is that you're not going to handle it, it's going to go in a cabinet and then it's going to stay there, you can get away with not doing a matte varnish at the end. And this is something that Mig Jimenez espouses. He hates using matte coats at the end. So you do your gloss coat, do your decals or whatever else you need to do, then another gloss coat. And then when you do your weathering, at some point do a filter, an enamel filter. You might use a filter just to change the tint of it a little bit. Or if you're doing streaking or anything like that and using enamels or oils, what you'll find is I've taken a model that's had gloss coats on it and I've done some enamel streaks and some enamel filters. I've used the Ammo by Mig stuff, but these AK products as well. And by the end of just doing the weathering, it's not shiny anymore. It's gone matte. And it gives a nice matte finish. Not perfect, but it's realistic enough. And if you don't intend on handling it and it's going to go in a cabinet, you don't actually have to then put a matte coat on it to protect it. So if you're struggling for a matte coat, like if I'm doing a build and it's the middle of winter and I can't go out and spray the rattle can matte and I've got no other alternative, if I'm doing enamel weathering, it might actually be fine just with that. So next time you're doing that, give it a try. Try some enamel filters and streaking grimes and things like that and see what happens, because you might find it's matte enough, and because the decals are already held in place by the gloss, the weathering that you've put on there, it's not a risk because you're not going to be handling it. So give it a try.
Yep. Another question just came through from my namesake, Ted Crafton. He says, do eModels ship to the US? And
I've just got that. Did you send that to me, or did I just get that as well?
I think I've just sent it to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
All do is mailing me while I'm on live on telly.
No, I think he sent it to you and I. Does eModels ship to the US, and how are the shipping rates? I understand that they do ship to the US. Yes, they do. As for the shipping rates, it's best to contact them and ask before you order anything. And I'd also think that when you check out, you can elect your shipping rates. It could tell you on there.
The thing to bear in mind with international shipping to any country outside the UK is it depends on the volumetric weight of your package. So not how heavy it is actually, but how long, high, and wide it is. That's how the couriers and postage work out the volumetric weight. So obviously if you order 300 things, it's going to be a different shipping rate to if you order a pack of brushes. So it can vary. And the other thing to be aware as well with shipping, because they do ship to America, is there are some things that eModels can't ship out of the UK. I would assume it's things like aerosols, some particular chemicals. This is especially to the US, where you can't send things like aerosols or particular solvents into the US. So do be aware there are a very small number of products, but if you've got any problems, if you're not sure, just drop them an email. I think if you've got some of those items in your basket and you try to check out to the US, it may say you can't do it, because I think it might say there's products that they can't ship. But if you're not sure, I think it's only things like strong solvents and some aerosol products, but double check it. There is a FAQ on the eModels website, and it does go through the things they can't ship abroad.
Yeah, but there is a contact. There is an area on the website. Contact us. Open it it gives you a little option of filling a form in and asking them a question. And the guys are pretty good, and they'll get back to you fairly quickly.
I mean, 99% of the stuff you'll be fine. You can order it. It's just a very small number of things. Like I think the problem with, because you remember how it took us years before we could actually get to be extra thin. And I know eModels only started selling it a few years ago, and he was they were one of the first retailers to actually have it in the UK. It's because for a long time you couldn't import it into the UK. That's why it was really hard to get up till recently, up to the last few years, because it was actually hard to get it in. It's allowed now. It's not a prohibited substance anymore. But it just up till a few years ago, it wasn't economically viable to import it into the UK. I didn't know that. I found that out.
Yeah, another problem as well with shipping outside of the UK. eModels are primarily a UK-based store. Shipping outside the UK, often it goes to different handlers, different couriers, and it goes through a lot more hands. So just all building issues into the delivery. But they'll do the best, and they will ship. They'll ship all over the world.
Oh yeah, they ship everywhere. Everybody can get eModel stuff, but apart from North Korea, obs.
Yeah.
That one's kind of a given.
Yeah. But probably if somebody's going to North Korea, they maybe would. Never mind. Anyway. What was that? I just saw that. Just noticed a ladder behind Foxx, says Robert Blylock. Is that a bunk bed?
It was a loft bed. It was originally. Now it's just there. It's got stuff stored on it. It's just where my workbench is.
Yep. Good.
I need to get rid of that actually because it just gets in the way.
Yeah, somebody, what Wattington says it's your escape hatch.
Yes, it's my escape hatch to the roof. In case of epic flooding.
Chris Smith said he had an issue with the Channel Islands. He sent an email to eModels, so they got back to him within hours. Yeah, the guys there are usually pretty quick. It does work better if you contact them using the contact form, and then rather than a telephone, because the phones are ringing all the time, and it's harder for them to answer the phone than it is for answering an email. So,
yeah, basically they'll fall all over themselves to answer your email as quickly as possible. So,
yeah. And as Northwest Modelers say, yeah, there's import duties often to pay as well, but that's all taken into account for the postage.
Yeah. That's the same that's the same ordering anything from anywhere outside your own country.
Right. Okay. Right. Thanks. Right. Any more questions?
Dave Wise the Rum Gone Barker says, "Oh Fox, Kimberly is home from South Korea. I have your 2 fire noodles. We'll post it to you this week." He was going. His daughter was in South Korea, and she was going to get me a couple of pots of ramyeon, but like proper Korean ramyeon, and they're super hot. Basically, Korean pot noodles.
So. While I was out getting my little paint pots today from a well-known burger manufacturer, I was in Tesco.
Burger manufacturer. It's like a factory.
I was in Tesco next door, and they have actually started selling genuine Japanese, Chinese noodle type things in the world foods aisle. So
what proper
Korean?
All the brand names have gone apart from Nissin Cup Noodle.
Yeah, and strips of fish on sticks and things like that. So, right. What Chris Williams asks, "What's the flesh paint behind me for?" Flesh paint.
It's for flesh.
Flesh. I got it for my U-boat crew. Here he is, my little U-boat man. I got it for them because there's 22 of these figures to do. I think I've covered it on one of my videos so far. Colouring these guys. I did also get it for colouring this fella in, who's the guy from Minions. But I decided that I wasn't going to use acrylics for him, so I used oil paints, and it turned out quite well. Yeah, so that's what the flesh paint's for those flesh tones.
Yeah, slap it on.
This is the life colour one. It's got a set of 6 pots in it, and using the wet palette technique, it's great for blending them all together. I'm getting it on. Yeah, brilliant. It works quite well. I've never painted figures before this U-boat lot came along. But yeah, it's turning out quite good, but that's what they're for.
We have a question from Cheryl Hayden. It's a question: have you got any advice on dot oil washing? I've only tried it once for streaking and it wasn't amazing. Yes, it's not really for streaking. That's probably why, if it didn't come out well. The dot filter is more, as the name suggests, it's more of a filter. It's a way to discolor the surface paint. So if you, on eModels channel, I did the Ford Transit build, and I think the second to last one, I show oil paint dot filter on that. Basically, it's a blue van. I did little colors of grays and greens and browns. And what you do is basically put your little dots of color on there. It can be any colors you want. Cover it in all these little dots so it looks really terrible. And then just get your nice flat brush, such as this. This is actually a proper oil paint brush, but you don't need to go expensive like that. And you basically just moisten it in some oil paint thinners, just moist, not dripping wet, and just brush it out and just work it. And that's the beauty of oil paint, is you can work the colors away, you can give them direction, you can blend them all together. It's not really for streaking. If you're doing streaks, your better technique there is to paint the line with oil paint and then feather it very gently with the brush, so you're fading that line of paint away and it just looks more like a streak. The dot filter is more just for changing the tone. So my blue Ford Transit van then took on a kind of browny, yellowy, greeny hue to suggest it had been out under a tree and out in the open air for a long time. So it's more about changing the tint. Alternatively, you can actually get filters, enamel filters, which MIG and Ammo do that. MIG and AK do them. And they're basically a pot of a color that you can just very lightly brush on, and it has the same effect, but it's enamel paint, not oil paint.
Yeah. For my Panzer tank, I've got a set of Abteilung German oil tone, German armor tones, and it seems that there's some quite strange colours to do dot weathering. There's yellows and pinks. Get them out. Pinks. It's sometimes quite strange that you think, oh, well, I'm putting blues and greens on my brown tank, and what's it going to do? But when they're all blended together, they actually really do work. And as Foxx says, it is more like a filter. Just changing the colour, just changing the hue of your base paint, and it takes a little time to get it right. But once it's just colouring, bringing all those other tones, especially as we see here in the different colours of the camouflage, it blends them all together rather than leaving them stark, and that's what it's all about. Just blending, really.
It's a good way. It's like Ted was saying, that it's a good way if you've got two different colours on a vehicle or whatever you're making, like a camouflage pattern like green and brown or green and khaki or whatever it is. It can look a bit stark, but a filter, it doesn't actually change those paints. It just gives them a similarity. So if you've got a green and you've got, say, a khaki colour, green is kind of a cold color and khaki is a warm color, but if you then do a filter in, say, a warm tone like browns and reds and things like that, then it will have an overall warming effect and kind of key those two colors together with the same tint. So it's like, it's similar to if you point a camera at something but put a piece of blue acetate between the camera and the thing you're photographing, it becomes a blue tint picture. It's the same kind of thing. It's very, very subtle, and it's just a way of warming or cooling a color. If you've got a gray tank and you put a brown filter on it, it'll kind of warm that gray up a bit. So it's super subtle. That's why it's called the oil dot filter, because it's more of a filter technique.
Yeah, and conversely, a white tank, a winter camouflage tank, if you filter it blue, it will actually cool the colours down and make it cold. So that's,
but it's a really, really subtle effect. If you do grimy colours, then it looks like grimy. If you're doing a colour tint, like Ted says, with the white and the blue, it can be so subtle you might not notice it, but you know it's there.
I think on one of my on the tank build, I covered filters as well as you did in the transit build, and I showed the difference between an unfiltered section and a filter section, and it really is subtle, but it is there. You can, it does work.
Yeah. We have another question. Stroom 13. I love that word, Stroom. I love saying that. Stroom. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Stream 13 says, question, Foxx, did you draw the avatars? No. Pete Mates has a contact who does all the little cartoon characters for the eModels staff, and he asked them to do me and Ted. I just cut these two out and stuck them on a banner. And did a little bit of Photoshop to give Ted an arm, an elbow, because he didn't have one. Other than that, no, it's not my work. Not my work. I can't do people. I can do animals, but I can't do people. So.
Dave, where's the rum gone? Asked, can I do a university vid on filters? I will be getting there. I will be doing a filter. The next thing I'm going to do on this is oil pin washes and dry brushing. So we'll sort of build it up, and then I'll move on and do some applying pigments and rusting it all up, and then we'll move on to something else. That's cool. The way the eMopen is planned anyway. Just short, sharp videos, but for what you want, I'm sort of looking at what people ask questions on and building the eMopen sort of tutorials around that. So we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll do some filters.
Robert Blaylock says, following Ted's lead, I'm midway through the Trumpeter 116 Oshkosh MRAP and preparing to begin the 148 U552. Wife says he's a bad influence on my pocketbook.
Yes,
true.
Sorry about that. Yes,
yeah,
I tend to get led astray myself, and I don't tell the wife how much it costs. So that's why you should always have a slush fund. Every time the wife gives you a fiver, can you go to the shop, get me a loaf of bread, keep the change out of the fiver, and you soon build a slush fund that she never knows about.
But Ted, you see, you've got the advantage. You can say, "Oh, it's just another one I'm doing for eModels," and then hope that by the time it's been sat on your shelf for like 5 years, she's like, Wasn't this one for eModels? No.
No, Peter didn't want this one back. He said I could have that.
Yeah. Let's have a look. What else have we got?
Who'd have thought Ted would be a trendsetter? That's me.
Yeah, there is a trend, and he does indeed set it.
Yes.
Let's see.
There's more questions coming in. Let's have your questions for us, or just we have a silly question of the week. We haven't had a silly question yet. We haven't seen
silly non-model question.
Yeah, so don't forget about that. So yeah, we'll try and answer them.
We do have one from Mike Mountain that I can't answer because I never used it. He says, "Question: Has anyone used plastic magic at all?" I've not even heard of it before, so
I've heard of it. I just can't place what it is at the moment. Can you remind me, Mike? I can remember what it is. I can't.
And if anybody in the chat has used it, obviously let Mike know, because I haven't.
Yeah, I've obviously not used it because I know what it is, but I can't think. No, I know the name. I can't think what it is. Plastic Magic. I think isn't it that it's a company, isn't it? Plastic Magic, the eModels sell.
It's kind of ringing a bell.
Glue. Glue.
It is ringing a bell. Oh yes, Mike Matty says glue.
Yeah, thanks.
Chris Smith says, "Question: Anyone wants kebab?" Yes.
No, I'd rather have a pizza.
You're an idiot. Kebab or a pizza?
I've had a McDonald's today. Sorry, I've had a burger today.
See, I love the fact you were refraining from saying McDonald's, but then I went to Tesco's next door.
Yeah. I just like where you can get these little paint pots from, that provided you ask the manager.
Yes.
So lots of them.
I'm aware of. Actually, no. Now you mentioned it, yes, I'm aware of Plastic Magic.
Deluxe Materials.
Yeah, Deluxe Materials. I've got a Deluxe thing somewhere here. I can't remember what it is now. Oh, actually, speak of the devil. Deluxe Materials, speed epoxy.
Yeah, I do know that Deluxe Materials are a pretty good glue product maker.
Yes, I put some of this on the inside of the eagle nose cone to reinforce it. It's really good. I'm an idiot, and even I can use it. So, and I just hurt my elbow on the desk.
Yeah, I know that eModels stock that. Well, obviously that's where you got that from. eModels stock the product, and they are a very good company to work to ask questions about. I asked them about some glues for a resin model. No, it wasn't resin. It was someone else. Anyway, I sent them an email. What's the best glue for using on this particular model? And they were straight back. Just like eModels, they were straight back to me. Use this, and it's quite good. So yeah, they're a lot of the guys in the model boat building world have used it. Now I've seen the product, I remember it. Yeah, and they all swore by it. It's pretty good.
Dave, why is the rum gone Barker again? That's another question. He says, silly one, not model related. I got them all singing Shake and Vac in their heads. What TV advert music used to get stuck in your head? I didn't have TV music, but I had a line from an advert, and it was from some loan company or something like that. And there's a bit where this guy, they did these adverts and they're really annoying in the late 90s, in the mid 90s. This guy goes to sit down and there's like a child's toy, and he goes, "Oh, I must sort out that loan. Oh, but I can't get to the bank." It was really badly acted, and I've never forgotten. "Oh, I must sort out that loan. Oh, I can't get to the bank." It stuck in my head for years, that.
One that stuck in my head was the Nimble advert, up and away in my beautiful balloon.
Is this like 1950s again, Ted?
It was in black and white. Took a while for the TV to warm up, but
was it on before the newsreels and things like that?
Yeah. And now we take you over. Yes, the Nimble advert, up and away in my beautiful balloon. Don't see that in anybody else's head now.
I mean, the music from the Black Magic adverts used to get stuck in my head.
Ooh.
They're going back. The Black Magic adverts, they're going back a while.
Yeah, the Flake advert used to do that as well. Or was it the Flake?
Yeah, was it the crumbliest?
Yeah, was it the Flake, or was it the people that were in the advert? No.
Now, there is an advert I remember that a lot of people don't, and I take pride in that. I remember this. There was an advert, and the lyrics to the song used to be watch out, there's a Humphrey about."
Ah, right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, the milk advert.
Yeah, it was an advert for milk, and the Humphrey was a red and white straw, and you come in on the side of the picture and like drink the milk. Watch out, watch out. There's a Humphrey about. These are British adverts from the 1970s. We're insane. If you don't live in the UK, you'd be like...
And what was the other one? There's a loose about
this hoose.
Yeah.
That's getting into Donald, where's your trousers?
Donald, where's your trousers?
Actually, talking of advertising, just on a complete aside for 1 second, people in the Boom Hut will know because I mentioned this. I had a recent occasion recently to watch a few episodes of Jerry Anderson's Space Precinct, which I haven't seen since the mid-90s when it was on, and I've forgotten all about it. And it was kind of not great. It was all right. Anyway, the one thing that got me was when I was watching it online, they kept the advert break segments in, so you get like the title card and then the title card again, and then it will carry on, and then you get another title card for the next advert break. What I was watching was obviously the American release, and I couldn't believe that you had like the opening titles and then an advert break, and then they come back from the adverts and the story would start. And I'm like, how can you have adverts right after the title? But then make it worse, I watched the episode, and at the end it said, and they all did the bit where they all go ha ha and freeze frame, and then it all stops, and then there's an advert break, and then it comes back from the advert break and it's the end titles. And I'm like, is America real? Is that really how your adverts are over in the US? Is it like literally before the end credits? Because that's insane.
Oh yeah, they did, I remember that. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
It's like, really, you're putting adverts just before the end titles? It's like, or just after the start titles? It's like insane. And maybe it was unusual, but I was like, wow, that's really, really bad. Sorry. Anyway, a bit of an aside there.
Yeah.
Going with retro and nostalgia again.
Yeah, we always go that way.
With this Ferrero Rocher, you really spoiling us, Ambassador, says Chris Smith.
Yeah, they had the ambassador's reception.
Yes.
The Ferrero Rocher.
I've now got the Black Magic music stuck in my head.
Yeah, I could still see this balloon floating across the countryside advertising bread.
You're getting back into Sunlight Soap territory now, aren't you, Ted?
Yeah, Sunlight Soap. Yeah, washing up soaps and toothpaste. Yeah, I'm sure.
Ron Max says R White. Ron Max says R Whites. Yeah.
Robert's lemonade drinker. R Whites. Yep, that's it.
Ted, you've got to do that again. You got to do that again.
No, I'm not doing it again because you'll cut it and use it. Is there a best paint to start with for airbrushing, with, i.e., with easy to thin and spray? Says Lord Barkley. Acrylics. Is there a best paint to start with? I would think that any paint that's actually made for airbrushing is a good paint to start with, because it doesn't then need thinning, or shouldn't particularly need thinning. And then just have a go from there, really. The Valeros, the AK Interactives, the MIG, Ammo MIG, there's lots of them out there.
I mean, if you want the easiest learning curve, if you're just starting out and you want the easiest learning curve, then Vallejo Model Air is specifically designed for airbrush. And it's just about the right thickness. Things like the normal paints and game color and stuff, and the ammo paints, they're airbrushable, but you might want to thin them a little bit. Tamiya, I wouldn't recommend I've never airbrushed before starting out paint, because you have to get the thinning just right on those. Although they're easy to put on. You have to.
Yeah, one thing I'll probably take back what I've just said about ammo MIG from Ammo airbrushing them. Is probably not a good idea to start with them, because they have you really need a special technique to spray them properly. You need to put it on mist coats, whereas the Vieiro, it's a bit more forgiving, and you can get it on, and you don't need to slap it on, but just spray it in thin coats. But the MIG Ammo just really needs to be misted, or it'll sort of fisheye and look like it's all splitting. So maybe not the best of paints to start with. Yeah,
start with your acrylics, but then now Ted's mentioned that, I was like, yes, that is a good point. Ammo is an acrylic paint like Vallejo and all the others. It kind of has to be treated differently. You can't just blap it on like Ted says. So yeah, maybe don't start out with the Ammo by MIG. A lot of people, when MIG started putting his paints out, when it first came out, there was a lot of bad feedback on the internet and on forums saying this paint's terrible. It's all, the matte is really shiny, it's lumpy and fisheye, and you had to put a thing out saying, no, you're just doing it wrong. It's actually got a special way of doing it. So yeah, don't start on the Ammo. Good point, that Ted. I forgot about that.
Beyond Hope says about thinning tammy paints. Says use the ridge on the inside of the pot to pour thinner. Some people are using it. If you take the lid off, there's a little ridge around the top. If you top it up with X20 thinners, that one. If you top it up with a proper Tamiya thinners to that ridge, give it a good shake. It should be then thin enough for airbrushing. That's what's certainly going around the intertubes. The best way of people finding for thinning it. So
yeah, the only reason I mentioned the Tamiya was because literally with things like a lot of the you know, say the Vallejo paints and stuff like that, it's literally 1 or 2 drops of thinner and it's fine. With Tamiya, you've got to put a bit more thinner in there, so it takes a little bit more practice. And some of the colours require more thinner. I've got a really itchy nose. So things like gunmetal, for example, you need to put more thinner in, and things like white, you want to be really careful because it can go horribly wrong. So there's nothing wrong with the Tamiya. It's a little bit more involved than just dropping a couple of drops of thinner in there.
Certainly, if you're starting out airbrushing, get an airbrushable paint because it's one less thing to think about, and then you can practice and get on with learning your technique and learning how to airbrush, finding the right pressures, the right distances, the right coverage, and then you can think about moving on to other paints and thinning and things like that. Because you won't always get the colour you want in an airbrushable paint, and you will eventually have to thin something. But yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, Nate Bliss says he's actually glad the chat moved when I'm reading it. Nate says, I'm glad I started with Tamiya, to be honest. It taught me how to thin paint. Yeah, there is that. It's like a baptism of fire. It's not more complex. It's not more complicated. It's just requires a little bit more thought and practice to get it exactly right. So,
right. As a question to sort of moving on and people are chatting amongst themselves. Should we go and have a look at what's in store?
Yes. Do you want to lock it on you and work your magic, Tedward?
Yeah. First of all, before we move over to what's in store, I don't know if any of you have noticed on the eModels Facebook page, but recently, we'll have a look at it in a minute, but recently they've updated their web page. So we'll go across, if I can find the button to screen share without pressing the wrong button.
Yeah, don't press that the big green button at the bottom, Ted. For the love of dog.
I'll share a page and we'll go across and have a look. We have here the new look eModels webpage. They've had a few things that have gone on the back end for those technical guys that know about these things. Am I locked on, by the way?
Yeah, I'm talking and it's not changed to me. Oh no,
it has
I'm
changed.
not.
Oh, there we go.
Infinity.
Yeah, right.
Inception.
You should be locked on me now. Yeah, for those guys who know about the technical things in the back end, they've done 1 or 2 changes to the codes and things. They've updated the PHP and SQL. Yep. They've got lots of the latest security patches and they've updated the firewall. So that's making your transaction between eModels and yourself more secure and a better experience, safer experience for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They've updated they've updated their website and moved to a more powerful server, so that's giving you faster searching, and they've also give you an auto-complete feature. So if you're searching, if you just put PA in, it will auto search paint and other words beginning with PA, kits and things like that. So if you don't know the spelling of a particular kit or something, if you just put the first couple of letters in,
just make it up, see what happens.
Just make it up, see what happens. Yeah.
And that's how people buy the big Dora kit by accident.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for like some Russian tank and ended up with the Dora.
Yeah. So as you can see, spinning across the top, there's a new header. They've updated the category menus, and there's also the new up here, the new section under Office, and we'll have a look at that as well in a moment. It's full cross-browser compatible, so whatever browser you have, it will still work on that.
It's also, if I remember rightly, it's also dynamic now. So if you look at it on a mobile device, it will switch around and reformat itself. So it's got a dynamic HTML in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's called.
And there's another 50 products added to their inventory. So that's it. And as you can see, we're on the front page as well. Oh, it's gone again. It's got to go. Yeah, so that's it. That's the eModels. We'll have a look at another feature as well in a moment. But what have they got? What's new in store? Well, there's a couple of things that have come in store today. We talk about weathering. And this one is the ammo Mig Jimenez, the Weathering magazine, and this is about camouflage. So there's loads of detail in there about fixing pictures up, camouflage, doing the camouflage.
Whoa, camouflage. Sorry,
Whoa,
that's stuck in my head now. Brilliant. Thanks, Fox.
There's some use of the oil brushes in there, streaking, and other sorts of effects. Lots of information, really good. Something just bedtime reading as well. You could, something rather than take the laptop to bed and keep the missus awake. Take your magazine and read that.
Is that what you call a gentleman's magazine there, or a gentleman's
gentleman's magazine
publication?
Yeah,
yes.
One that you will be allowed to read in bed. So that's that one. So brilliant. Lots of detail in there for the Ammo Weathering magazine. The next one is for all you aircraft guys. Is aircraft camouflage.
Yay! Everybody's happy in the chat now. Everybody look at the moon.
I can't see the chat. I can't see the chat. So unfortunately, if you do mention anything, I can't see the chat. So yeah, there's the V2 camouflage on that one. Another German aircraft. Sorry about. Is that the JU-22?
It's far too small on my screen, I'm afraid.
So I'm not into aircraft recognition, as you can gather. The Dauntless, well, they carry an aircraft, yeah. So lots of techniques and ideas. Look at that one. That'll take some doing to paint that.
Wow.
Decals.
I need to make my screen bigger because I can't actually see what you're doing. Oh wow. Yeah, that's gonna some kind of digital camouflage going on there.
That's it, digital camouflage.
That would break my brain. I think I seriously would kind of explode at that point.
If that's hand painted, it's amazing. Or is it decal? It looks like up the top here, it could be decals.
Yeah, it could be maybe vinyl masking. Perhaps I can't really see on my screen, but
yeah. Well, if you want to know, yeah, go buy the magazine and find out how to do it. But £9.49 for that. Next one. This links into what we showed last week. Remember the BMW sidecar and motorcycle?
Yeah, that looked awesome. There's that one. That was 1/9 scale as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 1/9 scale.
Oh, cool.
So, this is a Kettenkrad, quite a famous motorcycle sort of tracked vehicle that you often see in lots of World War II photographs and war films and things like that. So 1/9 scale. There it is, made up. Bags, as we discussed last week, I'm sure there's bags of detail in it.
I've made a tiny little Tamiya 135th one in a group of dudes and a Kettenkrad. Yeah. But yeah, 1/9 scale would be quite interesting. Again, it's like the motorbike; it's got tons of weathering potential and mud and dirt and stuff like that. So,
and just to point out, just going back to the updated eModels website, what we do here, what happens now, if you wanted some more details on it, the screen will actually follow you down so that you don't have to scroll all the way back up. You can just click up there. Details are about that, about the kit you're looking at, and you just add it to the cart from there.
Yeah, they add the cart button. When Pete Mate was showing me that, and I'm like, oh, that's a brilliant thing because that means I don't have to go all the way back up to the top of the page to give you money. I can just do it now. I can do it from the bottom of the page. Because if you've got a model with a really long description, it was a real pain having to go all the way back up again to try and press the button to give them money. So now it's easier.
It just makes it easier. It's more user friendly. Right, what have we got next? I forgot. We've done that one. We've done that one. Now we go to the Office page. As we've mentioned already, they have the Office section on it now. You asked for it, so they've done it. They've put an Office section up. Lots of models that are on offer, and these are not just the kits that they're trying to get rid of at their end of stock or not selling, but these are actual proper popular selling kits. So
they try and cycle it through. Some of them will be on there for a day, some will be on there for a month, some could be on there for 3 days. They try and cycle through as much as they can. They're basically saying, you guys are such great customers, we want to give you something back, so we're going to put offers out every now and then on all kinds of stuff, figures and books and planes and tanks and all kinds of things and tools. So it's worth checking this section regularly because you never know what will have dropped off and what will come on, and it's always updated, so it's worth checking out.
So yeah, that's all. Let's have a look what's on offer this week. Well, we've got this one for the aircraft guys amongst you. We did see this one when we were at the eModels store visiting a few weeks ago. I actually picked it up and remarked how good the box art was. Fantastic. This is the Academy.
Oh, is that the one you're holding up in the when I was halfway up the ladder?
Yeah, it was.
When you were halfway up the ladder. No, I was halfway up the ladder.
It's one of the aircraft that I've always liked. I think all the Western sort of air forces had these, and the Navy, things like that. They used to fly off the aircraft carriers, the Ark Royal, and things like that. And this is the 148th McDonnell F4, the Grey Ghost. Obviously from the US Navy. They're lovely aircraft. I think they're a nice looking aircraft, these. I was just wondering if there's any pictures of it. Unfortunately, yeah, there's a couple of pictures. Bags of detail.
For some reason, I always just think of them as Vietnam era, and then after that, I don't. They just in the 70s they ceased to exist. Well, late 70s. To me, they're just like, no, it's a Vietnam plane. It's that kind of era. I don't know why. I know they were in, they didn't just go to Vietnam with them, but you can't not like the fan. It's another one of those planes that you knew growing up even.
Yeah, it's an aircraft of when we were kids, isn't it? That we used to see on air shows and things like that. Yeah, well, yeah, it comes with a full bomb load. You can construct how you want. I'm not sure if it comes in.
You go like that ones.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it comes in wings folded option.
See, when I was a kid and I was 6, 7 years old, and you make model planes, the thing that always made the Phantom awesome was it had the little hook on the end. Where it lands on the aircraft carrier and it catches it. I can't remember exactly what it's called. The kind of hook and thing where it stops it flying off the end of the
arrestor, the arrestor hook.
Yes, and just the fact to have that little hook on the end was like the best thing ever to a 7-year-old me. It was like, wow, that's brilliant. It goes up and down.
Do you remember? Was it Palatoy made an aircraft? You could land a jet on your toy aircraft carrier.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think you used to string a cord across the room and hang your airplane on it, but then you could guide it down and you could land it on your aircraft carrier. Anyway, I digress.
You always digress, Ted. It's the way of things. We both do.
It's the way of my mind. It just wanders.
Well, you have a mind? I don't. Where can I get one?
Let's have a look at the next one. Back to another magazine. This is an AK interactive magazine. Lots of folks are asking questions about rust and other effects and pigments and things like that. This is the AK interactive book, Rat Rods and Rusty Book.
They've actually missed a comma out there. It's Rats, Rods, and Rusty Book.
Oh, I thought it was Rat Rods.
Yeah, no, it's Rats.
Is that two different things then?
There's no Z in Rat Rod.
Right.
But it's the same thing. I think it's designed for hot rods, rat rods, and rusty cars.
Yeah, but
I'm being a grammar Nazi, aren't I? I'll shut up.
Yeah, but the techniques used on this can be used on anything else. The little book there. When
I used to do many years ago, we used to do detailing. One of the things we just started to get into was actually doing rat rods, and that's why my car is rat rodded, because it was kind of a test bed. Was like, should we just see if we can do a rat rod in like 2 days? We were doing some work with a body shop, and we were trying to convince them, if you want to make some money off a rat, because they did hot rods, but they didn't do rat rods. And we was like, well, we can do it for you. We can just do one in 2 or 3 days. Okay. So we said, okay, we'll use my car. So that's why my car's rat rodded, because we just wanted a quick down and dirty rat rod look.
So I took it they'd just rat rod it with vinyl covers and vinyl stickers and things like that. They wouldn't actually.
No.
Holes in it.
No. You can do, but that's the lazy ass way of doing a rat rod, is just sticking a sticker. If you do a real rat rod, there's multiple ways of doing it, but quite often what you're doing is actually grinding paint off to show different layers of paint underneath and the rusty metal. So if it's a proper rat rod, you've actually, it may be like an old vintage Ford truck, for example, and it's got like 3 different colors of paint on there over the years, and you've actually sanded it down and very carefully to expose different layers of the paint, and some of it you'll leave as metal and expose it and let that rust.
Right.
It depends what the the under the paint, what the substrate under the paint's like. If it's all rusty, then some people will actually strip all the paint off and expose the metal. I know a guy who had an Audi A6, brand new Audi A6. He took the bonnet off, took all the paint off the bonnet, bare metal, and left it in his back garden for 2 years so it rusted. And then he got the rusty bonnet and he lacquered over it to seal it in and put it back on his car. The bonnet looked fantastic, but the rest of his car looked terrible because the rest of the car was nice and clean. But I like his dedication to rat rodding.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, so if you want to find out how to rust your cars or vehicles up, there's the book to tell you.
Yeah. If you don't do weathered models, you should do weathered models. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Have a go at it, yeah.
Clean models are fine, but weathering and making them look scruffy is even better.
Yeah. If you only do one weathered model, just do one weathered model, and then you can do the rest shiny ones. That's that one.
Yeah.
That's that one anyway. And if you do go all wrong and get the wrong paints and everything else on it, you can take it and use some Carson Model Spot remover on it. Yeah, this will take your paint off.
I can never reach things because I got my headset on.
No, we can't see you anyway, can we?
Yes.
Yeah.
I found out about Carson Paint Killer a few years ago. And it's like, oh, how have I not known about this product? It's basically a can of xylene, which, if you don't know, is like Uber paint stripper. It'll take the paint off anything. And they do rattle cans and bottles. I don't know if I can reach mine. It's way over there somewhere. It's a real good last resort paint stripper. You can strip paint off anything. If you get paint on a clear canopy, you can strip the paint off it with this stuff and it won't damage the clear canopy at all. And if you've got an old airbrush that's gunked up to heck, as long as it's solvent safe, if you've got an old airbrush that's so gunked up it just you can't even get a pin through it, get some Carson Paint Killer in it. It will just get rid of it. And I've used it for a while. I used to use it to clean my airbrush out when it was really gunked up. It's brilliant. It's brilliant stuff. And it's not long been in the UK. For a long time, you had to get it from Germany. That's the only place you can get it. Or the US. But now eModels have got it in. And it's like, yes. But it's a good way of stripping paint off models. It'll take primer off as well. If you work at it. If you've got a model, dip a cotton bud in it and just work it on the paint and it will gradually remove it.
This description says there that it'll take just about every paint off that you got, even up to two component paints. So yeah, if it's really gone wrong, or you've changed your mind, give it a go with this and get it off.
The only thing I would say is, the two things I would say is, if you get this one, which is the spray can, please do it in a well ventilated room. And if you have a respirator, wear a respirator. It is xylene. Xylene is highly toxic. Xylene is one of the nastiest things you can put into your lungs. So if you've got a respirator, wear it. If you've got the spray can, if you're using the glass bottle and you just say rubbing it off with a cotton bud, make sure you put the lid back on when you're not. Don't just leave the lid off, because you'll get the fumes and you will give yourself a headache and worse. So if you're going to be working with it for a while, either try and do it outdoors or do it in a really well ventilated room, or wear your respirator. Even if you're using the glass bottle, have a mask on, a respirator, because it's strong stuff, but it's awesome. It is. The only thing I'd say about it is, don't use it on gunpla, on inner frame parts, ABS, because it will just dissolve the ABS.
Yeah. So if your oven cleaner and kitchen cleaner won't move it, this stuff will.
I don't know if I would. I've never actually tried to use. I've never. Shall I start that sentence again?
Start that again.
That was a complete train wreck, wasn't it?
Put the teeth back in and start again.
I've never actually tried it to strip Mechy plating off parts. It would be a very expensive way of doing it. An oven cleaner's much more practical. But if you've got a single, say, silver plated or gold plated part in a kit, say you've got a model car and there's one bit you don't want to be plated, just dump it in a little bit of that and probably remove it. Actually, I would think it would.
Yeah, as Foxx says, just check the basis of your what the plastic's made of. Make sure it is plastic and not ABS or anything like that. It will go.
Yeah, but you can use it on clear parts and it will not damage or fog the clear part. That's the best bit. If you mess up the paint, if you spill a load of paint on your canopy and you're like, just get some of that on a cotton bud, it'll come off perfect.
Right, there we go. Right, next thing is this one. We have a bit of nostalgia again, one for the car guys as well, but it's not quite a race car. Who's gonna call? Yeah, this is. We looked at a few of these a few weeks ago. We did the Starsky Hutch and everything else, and this, I don't think this one must have been in stock then, because we couldn't show it. But is the Ghostbusters kit?
That's in my head now. I have to admit, if I wasn't allergic to doing shiny cars, I would do I'd want to do an Ecto one because it's just so rad. But I'd have to weather it, and then it wouldn't be Ecto one. So unless I just covered it in slime or marshmallow. That's an option.
Yeah, let's go with pictures. Lots of ideas and detail on that. Wonder if you could make those lights flash. Wonder if you get an LED kit in there somehow.
Oh, yeah, you could. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be an extra dimension, that one. Yeah, it's good. Yep, there's it is a bit of humour, a bit of nostalgia, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ector 1.
I've got the sound of the siren in my head. I'm not going to do it, guys. I can hear it in my head now.
And I think finally we've got final one. Weathering panel lines. We've been a bit of a look in store at books this week. So that one's the Ammo by Mig.
Für dem Aircraft, ja, das ist richtig.
The aircraft. Panel line washes, the Mig 29 there.
Got the panel lines on that for.
Next one. Next one, yep. Lots of techniques, how to do it, things like that. And one thing I will say about Mig as well, he doesn't actually always push his own. Well, he obviously selling his own products and he's selling them through the book, but he will tell you about using other products as well. I have seen that in his books as well.
I've got actually, because I was having a tidy up today when I put the cabinet in, and I've got the In Combat Weathering for Mechas, and it did surprise me how he quite happily showcased. Like the first section is him painting and weathering the RX-78-2 Master Grade, and he takes through every step he's done. And he's not just using his own stuff; he's using other people's stuff, like Tamiya stuff and everything else. And he even uses some AK Interactive products. I'm like, wow, but you're like Mortal Enemies. How does that work? So yeah, he's actually really open about using his products or other people's products.
Yeah. So lots of ideas in there. So with all the books that we've seen tonight, there's going to be lots of ideas of how to do things and answer all your questions.
Yeah. When we were talking about weathering earlier on and doing matte coats with your enamel filter and streaking washes, if you've never done that, then it's worth picking up some of these MIG weathering guides, because it is a kind of well-established technique using enamels and oils for streaking and grime and dirt and weathering and stuff. It's well worth getting into. I didn't used to do it until about 2 years ago when I started using them, and I adore it. It's brilliant for streaking and all that kind of stuff. So if you've never tried things like enamel and oil paint weathering, pick some of these magazines up and have a look and see how it's done, and just give it a go. It's brilliant.
Oh, and a bit of flesh tone there as well.
Oh, flesh tones. Dead in your flesh tones.
Slap it on.
Am I gonna have to start calling you Swiss Tony? Painting a model is very much like making love to a beautiful woman.
All right, but put yourself back focus. Which way does it go? That's it.
You unlocked it as well, so it's not just you.
Right, I've unlocked it as well. That's it. Yeah, that's what is in store this week, folks.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do a plane at some point, aren't I? I'm gonna have to do a plane at some point. I don't think it'll be. I need to do a plane. I've not.
Maybe if you do a plane, I'll do a Warhammer.
So if I get like an enormous JU-52, I'm sure somebody does a 1/48 scale JU-52. You'll do a Baneblade.
I'd have to find a cheap.
He's backing out now.
Yeah, backing away. I'm backing away slowly.
I think you're still locked on you, by the way, dude. Are you?
Is it? No, I think it. No, it's on you as well. Speak.
Is it? Okay. Blah 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 blah. Testing words.
Come over to you. Yeah.
So for the wings of dove.
Right. Yeah. So that's what's in store. Have a look. Go across. Have a look at the new website and see how you feel about it. If you are a regular customer, the guys have said they recommend that you clear your cache and it'll refresh everything. So
just hit F5. Dave Wise the Rum says, "Do the JU Fox." Northwest Modeler Alan says, "Yay! I will." I
think you can commit yourself now.
The thing is, it sounds really bad, but I have no love for modern aircraft like jet fighters and stuff. They just don't do anything for me. But World War II era, like your Junkers, your Spitz, there's something about them that's just like I want to do one. So I will actually have to do. Should I do a Spitfire? No, I'd have to do a Junkers. I like the JU-52. The only thing I found is I know there's an Italeri kit and I know there's the Airfix kit, and I made the Airfix kit when I was about 12 and it was brilliant. It had the floats and everything, so you can make it as a seaplane. But then about 4 years ago, I bought the Airfix kit and it was the worst kit I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was horrible. It was like a 40-year-old mold. So I'll have to have a look around and see what I can find. But yeah, I might have to do an aircraft. Once the Eagle's out of the way and I've got some other bits and bobs to do,
Yeah, we need to find an opening in our build schedule to
Yes, maybe I'll have to have a word with Pete, mate, because once the Eagle's done, I've got a few things I need to get out of the way because I need to build stuff to sell it. So I need to get some of my stuff done. And I think once the Eagle's done and I've done some other bits, I think then maybe we might have a word with Pete, mate, and see maybe do an aircraft maybe for the eModels guys. I don't know, maybe. Well, it'll be a tank.
oh yeah, right. I've got that. Yeah, that's on video. Well, I've looked at that.
But you said you do have Warhammers, so you've just cornered yourself as well.
Yeah, yes. I told you my mind wanders. It's my age. I can't remember anything. Right.
It's my age. Does anybody in the chat? Can anybody in the chat tell me if there is a good a good JU52 kit? Tony Black says Reveldo 148. So that's possibly an option. I say the Airfix one I had was it was horrible. I literally opened the box. I thought, brilliant, I've got a box full of spare bits, and put it in my bit of greebles, and the canopy was like frosted. It was a 50-year-old tooling. It was like £4, so it wasn't recoverable, basically.
Dave, where's the rum gone? Seconds the Revel. So
yeah, okay, that could be possible.
Yeah. So
it could be possible. Yeah.
Can anybody recommend a Bane blade, or have they got one lying around that they don't want?
Yeah, everybody needs to hassle Ted to make a Bane blade now.
Yeah, take donations. No, never mind. Well, right. It's about giveaway time, isn't it? Or should we do the giveaways, or should we announce a competition?
Actually, Nate Bliss says, Foxx, make a Valkyrie. It's a plane and a mech suit in one. Wait, are we talking Valkyrie as in Macross or Valkyrie as in Warhammer? Because there's a Warhammer Valkyrie up there on the top of the cupboard you can't see. Go on, Sam. What were you saying? Sorry.
Should we do the giveaways, or should we announce the competition?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes, I'll push that back on you there.
I tell you what, we'll announce the competition first, because that will link into going across to the new website. Right, we're going to run a competition from eModels. Just a bit of fun, nothing serious. It doesn't involve any model making. All you need is a camera and an eModels logo. You can either have a sticker, or you can go across to the eModels website and go to the contact us page, and there's a downloadable logo from there, so you can get an eModels logo from there. And as it's coming up to holidays, and everybody's perhaps maybe hopefully going to go away on holidays or to exotic places. So I got it right. Exotic places.
Yeah, when we were talking about this earlier on, that went horribly wrong.
Yeah, and the competition is to take a picture of the eModels logo in the most unusual or exotic place that you could think of. Back in focus, and that's all you have to do. However, when you've taken the photo, you need to go across to the eModels Facebook page and post it on there. And then at the beginning of September, we'll have a look at them, and we'll get somebody off the street, independent, to judge which is the most exotic or unusual place that a eModel sticker has been photographed.
Family friendly.
Family friendly.
Let's just, with the words exotic being thrown around, let's just make this family friendly. Yes, make sure.
Yeah, and obviously we need to take into account that we need to issue the warnings of health and safety and damaging things and things like that.
No vandalism.
Don't want to put yourself at risk or leave any lasting impression of where you've been. And that's all you have to do is
if your picture should somehow not be family friendly, Ted has a different email address for those for you.
Yeah.
Flesh Tones Research Institute.
Yeah, so that's all there is to it. And in the meantime, we'll work out. We haven't decided a prize yet. We'll decide that perhaps nearer the end of the competition. But you've got until the beginning of September to submit your photographs.
That's like forever.
If you are in the photograph as well. If you are in the, you like that, If you're in the photograph as well, more credit to you. Get your face on the Facebook page, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Take a picture of the eModels logo. And as I say, if you go across to the contact page on eModels, there's a downloadable logo there. And if you don't want to take a picture in exotic places, you can also just download an eModels logo to take pictures of your model build and send them in.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do.
And they're just posting it on their Facebook page, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's it. Yeah, and we'll get Gavin or somebody in the store.
Yeah, Gavmate will suddenly have a task ahead of him for the next 2 months.
We'll put them all up so you can go and have a look at them.
Yeah, we love coming with plans that require no work for us, but
yeah. So that's what you need to do. So the funnier the better. So that's it. And we'll leave it up to you. We'll give you a few reminders each week as it goes on. But get your pictures sent in. And obviously, if you're traveling around, you can submit more than one picture. But yeah, let's get yourself across to the eModels page, Facebook page, and post them on there on the visitors posts. And we're looking forward to seeing them. So that's it.
Vincent, Mr. Lewis Model Making is in. He says, "Well, I've made it only over an hour late." You hear? That's all that matters, Vincent.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. Oh dear.
Yeah. So that's that one. That's the competition. As I say, it's just a bit of fun, nothing serious. And we'll work out a price. The guys at eModels will work out a price for whatever.
For Vincent, very quickly, because he just missed it. Basically, either get yourself an eModels sticker or go onto the eModels website and download the logo, or go on the internet and find the logo. Take a picture of yourself somewhere bizarre and exotic while you're on holiday somewhere or anything like that with you and the logo, and post it on the Facebook page, and there'll be it's like a bit of a silly competition. Post it on the eModels Facebook page, and then we'll pick a winner at random we'll pick a winner in September, the start of September.
Yeah, Washington says, can you do it from prison? You can do it from anywhere.
You can do it from anywhere you want.
Be it exotic, strange, or funny. Yeah.
Yes, exotic, Ted. Exotic, not the other one.
Exotic. I remember. I'll have to write that under the screen in bold letters. Yeah. Exotic.
Yes, get that one right.
Because if it's another picture on the Facebook page. What's the price, says TK? We haven't decided yet.
Don't know yet.
We'll work it out.
We wait word from on high.
Yeah, but that's not point, is it? It's not about the prize. It's a taking part.
Yeah, it's just a silly bit of fun.
Just a bit of fun. So that's all it is. Right. Should we do? We might as well, while we're on the subject, then we might as well do some giveaways.
Yes.
Should we do a mug first? The eModels mug, the eModels famous
eModels mug. Bring it on
for the scale model enthusiast.
You nearly sang that then. That was quite impressive.
Yeah. Well, somebody said before they should have a TV advert for eModels with a theme tune.
Yes, for some reason I've decided it would have to be some kind of strangely converted cover of Convoy.
Chris Smith says, how many entries per person? Doesn't matter. As long as you post a picture over on the eModels Facebook page.
Stream says if he goes to Japan, he'll stick one on the butt of the 1:1 scale Gundam Unicorn. That'll be about 40 feet in the air, so good luck with that one. That'll be quite impressive.
Right. Tony Black, it doesn't matter if you've got model paint on it.
Nope.
Just use, it looks all the better. But you can go and download another from the eModels page. Or if you're asking for an order from eModels, if you've got an order in, just ask them to stick an eModels sticker in it.
Stick a sticker in the thing.
Stick a sticker in it. Yeah. Right. Mugs. Now then, we're going to do a mug. And just a reminder that if you don't want a mug, or if you have a mug, or if you have a sticker or anything else, you are quite welcome to take part. However, if you don't want a mug, please don't answer the question and give other people a chance to do so. So that's it. Just being fair. If you don't want a mug, just don't answer the question.
Yeah. If you want another mug, you can have 35 mugs if you want. If you want 12 mugs, to have a go. But if you've already got one, just leave it for everybody else to answer, then everybody gets a fair chance.
Right. So the question this week for a mug. We were on about kits and things before, and early kits and things like that. Who manufactured the first model kit? Who and when was the first model kit manufactured?
I forgot the answer, Ted.
Go.
Darn it.
Go.
So have you got the chat open? Because I forgot what the answer was.
I've got the chat open, and it's the first one to comment in our chat, not necessarily your own, because it pings towards you. Yeah,
we've got
Tony Black said, yeah, Tony Black's got it there.
Oh, is it Frog?
Yeah, it's Frog. And
do you want me to screen share that, or do you want to screen share?
It's moving too fast.
I shall screen sharing.
Tony Black.
Roger, sharing now. Have you got me?
I've got you.
Yep. So what says Kevin, Radio Hobby Corner says Airfix, and Tony says Frog.
Yeah,
fabulous. You guys get faster at this every week. You guys know some random stuff, I'll tell you that. I nearly got that wrong and said a bad word then, nearly.
Right. Thank you, Tony Black. Obviously, if you send your details to me at ted@emodels.co.uk, we'll get one off to you. A mug, that is. Yeah. We might as well do the T-shirt as well at the same time.
Oh, yes. What sizes do we have, Ted? We've got limited sizes
only now. XXL.
Oh.
Hang on. I'll just be out of shot for a moment while I check.
Oh my God, that leaves me to just talk and entertain everybody.
You just talk randomly.
Oh, no. Well, I'm good at that. I must admit, I've never actually heard of Frog. Well, I have heard of Frog, but I don't think they lasted. Are they still going, Frog? I think they might be. Tell me in the chat.
I'm back. We only have XXL and medium left in stock, so you'll have to either shrink it in the wash.
Is it locked on me, Ted, or something? Oh, sorry, no, it was locked. Don't worry, it was just locked on Ted. It's fine.
Yeah, we only have XXL and medium left. I can't. That's it. Sort it out. So, if you're happy with those sizes, we can send you a T-shirt. Unfortunately, I don't have any left. So you can either shrink it or wear it very tightly.
Cake or death. Cake or death.
Right. The question for this week's T-shirt. We had a look at the. It's become a bit of a theme. This. We had a look at the McDonald's. The McDonnell Douglas Phantom. The F4 Phantom. When was it retired from service in the UK? What year was the McDonnell Douglas F4 Phantom retired in the UK?
I forgot the answer to this already as well.
What year? I don't need the exact date, but what year was it retired? According to Google, that is.
Yep, the audience is thinking. We have Alex Kittle says 1978.
No.
Nate Bliss 78. Ron Mack 1980. Dave 1982. 86, 1989. It's going really fast. 84. Oh God, it's going too fast. Let's have a look.
I don't know whether it was Navy or the Air Force, but Google tells me it was retired in this date. Generally, I would think they'll go about.
No one's got it yet.
No.
If I remember what it was vaguely. No, nobody's there yet. You may have stumped him, Tedward.
Yeah, it's probably fastest Google, this one.
I know.
Boom. There we go. Philip Rhodes.
Philip Rhodes
has got that one.
Screen shareage.
Beat Matthew Drake to it. Matthew Rhodes, 1992. That's what Google. That's the date that Google tells me anyway. I'll look across to you folks.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. I'll unshare now. I never actually know how to unshare. It's just I don't know. I'm not good at this screen sharing malarkey. Right,
Philip. If you send me your email address, your address to my email at ted@eModels.co.uk. and I will get you a T-shirt sent out. Hopefully, I could get it sent out fairly soon because work and such last week. I haven't had last chance to send last week's out yet, so I'll get it to you as soon as possible. If you just tell me that size you want, I've got XXL and medium. That's what's left on the shelf. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Right, have we anything else to chat about, discuss?
No, not for me. Anybody in the chat have any more questions at all, or anything you want us to talk about? It's still locked on me, apparently. I think. It's because I'm talking.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably right. Yeah.
It's because I'm talking. I'm talking here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's locked on Foxx, says Phil Davis.
It's not now. It's fine. You can go. Yeah, I'm just checking my emails just to check, see if there's any more questions come in. I've just shut the email down. There we go. Oh, no more questions coming from the email. Right, so yeah, those guys are the winners. Let me know your addresses at ted@emodels.co.uk. Thank you.
Is it still locked on me, guys, or was Ted on camera then? Good,
no,
that's all right then. That's all right then.
Right.
Everybody was panicking. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Right.
Fast as lightning.
Well, I'm gradually running out of t-shirts. I don't know what I'll be giving away next. All sorts of things.
We'll find out when we run out of the t-shirts.
Is there, Ron Mack says, is there something I can buy that will make glue dry quicker? What sort of glue are you on about, Ron? If you mean to be your extra thin or anything like that, I don't think so.
The only thing you can get for glues is a kicker for CA or super glue.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else for most polystyrene cements dry really quick anyway. So if it's CA glue, you can get kickers. I have heard tell, again, because I don't use it very often, but I've heard tell that sometimes that can cause problems. Although I watched a video of a guy once saying, I glued these two parts of model together and then I sprayed the kicker on it and then all the paint came off. And I'm like, why were you spraying kicker on a painted model, you spoon? So yeah, don't spray it on painted models.
Yeah, Beyond Hope says a hairdryer, but yeah, I've heard of it working in certain types of areas, but I wouldn't be too keen on using a hairdryer.
No,
on a plastic kit. So
it depends on the glue. If it's a welding cement, just let it do its thing because its whole point is it's welding the plastic together, and you can't really speed that up. If it's a contact cement, super glue's got kickers. Epoxy glues, not really. They take a long time because of the way they actually bond to the things they're bonding together. So apart from super glue, not that I'm aware of.
No.
There is actually, Tony Black says there's a faster drying extra thin, isn't there? Yes, there is. And it's called...
Isn't it super extra thin or something?
I can't remember what it's called. It's Tamiya extra thin, but it dries a little bit faster. Tamiya extra thin's really fast anyway.
I think that's all down to the joys of bottling, though. It's just time and patience. That's what it's all about. Taking your time.
Glue the part, sit back, light your pipe, and admire your work.
Yeah. That's why people say, when you say that I build models, I don't know how you've got the patience. That's what it's all about, having patience, chilling out, making the heart slow down.
Because making models, as Ted would say, is like making love to a beautiful woman. As Swiss Ted would say.
Quick setting extra thin.
Quick setting extra thin. That's, for once, the Japanese gave it a name that actually makes complete sense.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Don't like your pipe around lacquers, though.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of that, speaking of lacquers, I've actually ordered myself a half mask this week off the internet. So I'll be able to.
A respirator. Did you go for the 7000 series 3M?
I did, and some filters as well. So I now no longer need to hold my breath when I'm spraying lacquers.
So it's one of these puppies. It's all tangled up. My moment's gone now. This moment's ruined. See, it's all tangled up now. Yeah, it's a proper half mask respirator.
Hello, Ginger. Hello, Ginger. It's Roger here. Can you hear me? Hello?
No, once Gotham was burned, then you could die.
Angels 1-5, Angels 1-5, attack going in. Tally ho.
Tally ho, Ginger. Ginger, get a cup of tea over there ready. I'm going to loose the boy now. If you're spraying any kind of paint, and I think we've mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning. If you are using an airbrush or spraying any kind of paint, do not go to a hardware store and buy a paper paste mask. You will die. Trust me. This is what you need for spraying, a proper respirator. They're not super expensive. They're not cheap. They're like 30 quid, but the cartridges aren't too expensive, but the mask lasts you for years. If you're spraying paint and you use a paper mask, that paper mask is designed for dust. Dust is not what comes out of your airbrush. What comes out of your airbrush is vapor and aerosolized paint, which you will just inhale, and it will pollute your lungs and coat your lungs. If you're going to be using an airbrush or a rattle can, even if you're going to rattle can spray, even outside, you don't need to, but one of these is good. But if you're rattle can spraying indoors, for the love of God, don't have anybody else in the house with you, get yourself a respirator. It's common sense. Always, The thing with our hobby is it's a silly fun hobby, but there's a lot of dangerous things we do. I stabbed myself in the leg again yesterday with my knife, so I know about dangerous things. But always think safety. If you're spraying anything, use a mask. And when I say mask, I mean respirator. Public safety information film completed.
Right. I think on that note, as it's 10:30, I think we'll call it a night.
Oh, is it 10:30?
It's 10:30.
Yeah, I'm lost now because I had to get up at 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, it'll be a long day for you today, folks.
I know. I normally get up at like 9, so I'm like.
Yeah, well, we realise you don't go active on the internet till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're guessing that that's all the time you get up.
Well, no, usually it's because I'll get up and do some stuff, and then it'll be like I'll take a break and do the internet stuff. So my little comments do tend to be like at a chunk in the morning and a chunk in the evening. If you see me commenting on Facebook and stuff all day, I'm having a lazy day.
Yeah, I tend to do that now. I tend to answer questions and emails and do me admin work. They laugh at me at work because what are you doing now? I'm doing my admin because you've got all these emails to answer and questions and sort of statuses to update and everything else. So yeah, that's
social media, man, it's hard work.
Yeah,
it's hard work.
Yeah, well, we're not in just one place anyway.
Somebody else did actually say to me once. They said, "Oh, you must have such a great." Just because I work for myself, and it's like, well, your life must be great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you do know I work like 16 hours a day, technically, filming and this kind of stuff and building and all my social and everything else. It's not easy. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's great. We do enjoy doing what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. But anyway, time to go, everybody. Remember the competition that we've launched tonight? Go and get yourself an eModels logo or a sticker.
Yep. Vincent, if you're not sure what that competition was, just drop me or Ted a message on Facebook and we'll let you know what it was.
We'll post it. We'll probably post it up. I'll send a message across to Pete and we'll get the details posted up on the Facebook page where you can see it again. Okay, folks, thank you very much for your input tonight. It's been a great night. A couple of giveaways. The competition launched, and it's been great fun having you all along. So, 10:30. Yeah, it's 10:30. Time for bed.
Time for food. I'm starving. I'm ravenous. I realise I'm looking at Ted, who's just above my camera, and not at my camera. So everybody thinks I'm looking just up there, but I'm not. I'm actually looking at Ted, which is it's never going to work, is it?
No, it's better than nothing. Anyway, folks, good night to you all. Thank you very much for dropping in, and we'll look for seeing you next week. So, bye, everybody. Bye.
Adios, amoebas.
Bye. Ooh, thumbs. Wavy thumbs.
Hat.
Stop.